Hi, Nora. Greetings from Toronto. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Do you miss our city? It's been a while, huh?
It has been a while since I've been to Toronto, actually. Yeah, I think maybe 2018, 17.
Yeah,
Yeah.
designated
Yes.
survivor,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
Yes,
And
working.
that was so funny with Designated Survivor. Every time they knew it was going to be freezing the day I came, and I never shot inside. And I think on my last episode, we were going to shoot inside, and I was so excited. And then it was outside again. And because it was always, oh my God, it would be like under 20 degrees every time. And I would be sitting on a bench just, yeah. And then I just remember when I actually thought that I was going to shoot inside, I was like, oh, we should title this episode The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, because
Exactly, right?
that
You
was
know
so,
what? Next incarnation, when
yes,
when you lead the series yourself, you can call the shots.
exactly.
There you go. Well, congratulations on your performance in this. I was talking to Steve yesterday, and I told him that this film scared the crap out of me, mainly because it was based on these
Yeah.
real life serial killer. Before did you before you booked the role, or even when you did, you got
Mhm.
this. Did you know anything about these Mesa murders, or was it on your radar at all?
It was on my radar because I grew up in El Paso a bit, which is, not too far, and we would go to New Mexico a lot. So it was something that I was unfortunately aware of, or fortunately, because I do think it's important to like know what's going on. But
Absolutely. So how did that kind of not cloud your judgment, but just maybe help you or not help you in terms of the role that you were playing? Like, did you have to dive into some research once you knew you were going to make this film? Just say, I
yeah,
know it's not really based on it. It's kind of, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's like
But
loosely inspired by it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but just to give your
Um,
character knowledge.
Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, she's trying to figure it out as it goes along. So I thought that it was,
Yeah.
better to still have some, naivete. But I definitely did do some research.
Yeah. What's interesting about your character, Detective Young, she's, it's a man's world. What can I say? She's the female detective trying
Yeah.
to,
Yes.
hey, listen to me. Why are you ignoring me?
Yes.
How frustrating is that for you?
I mean, it's also just like being a woman, though, isn't it? I mean, in any field, like
Yeah.
I've been on sets where it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just going to take time. But I think in that particularly like masculine environment, it's that much harder. I was actually spoke to somebody who was a female cop, and she was like, "Wow, it was tough."
I can imagine, but what is it? I can't even, well, as you say, it happens everywhere. Like, who hasn't encountered it as a woman throughout careers and things like that? I get it. But when you're just trying to get a word in edgewise, and
Right.
you're trying to, like, hey, I've got some, and you're giving that female perspective. It's got to be extremely frustrating. And no matter what you do, that nobody wants to listen. Like, these guys are so macho, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you
Yes.
talk about that a little bit, because I know you're doing a role here, but you still
Mhm.
have to play this character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say behind the scenes, it was the opposite of that. And in fact, originally that character was a man. And
Ah,
he changed it for me. And so we did have like a lot of conversations where I did try to add in a bit of that because I thought it was really important to show those dynamics. Because it's so different, as you're saying, to be a woman
yeah,
uh, in that environment. And so yeah.
yeah, yeah. Interesting.
Having to
It's
like
interesting.
you have to work extra hard, you have to be extra tough, you have to, you know,
Yeah, absolutely. You got to kind of step up your game just to prove yourself, which is BS, but it is what
and
it
then
is.
just show up and they're men and so they're taken
Right.
seriously. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Hey, honey, go get the coffee. Nah, screw you, whatever,
Yeah.
right? But anyway, I could go on about this forever. Let's talk about some of those male co-stars. I mean, first off, we got to talk about Mel Gibson, because here he is, obviously veteran in the business. He's directed, he's done everything for a million years. What's that like for you to work opposite someone like him?
Obviously, I mean, I grew up watching him and so it was interesting to see his process in real life. We didn't work together much, we had
Yeah,
a few scenes. But yeah, it's very strange to see the person that you so uh grew up watching and then to actually be sitting across the table from them.
yeah, for sure. And then I love the fact that 50 Cent is in this. He's playing the
Yeah. The captain.
the chief, the captain, sorry, that
Yeah.
was the word I was looking for. What, I sometimes love when I see people who are in the music business
Mhm.
and they kind of turn over and do some of these roles. And he's good. I mean, it's not a huge role, but it fits him. What do you find if you when you work with somebody like that who comes from a different sensibility and then comes to acting? Did he bring anything in that respect?
He took it very seriously. Like he was so prepared. He was always the first one there sitting down, on set. He never had his phone with him. Took it very seriously. And I really commend that because I think sometimes, people walk into something else and they don't have that same work ethic. But obviously he's like so successful. He has like a million shows on the air. So
Yeah.
sure that's why. Yeah. And he was
Yeah.
so lovely and soft spoken and sweet.
That's great. And then Brian, of course, who plays your partner,
Yeah.
he's such a good guy too.
He's
Again, somebody who's
great.
been in the business for a long time as well.
Yeah.
What do you kind of, look, you have as well, you've done a million things, but what do you learn when you work with somebody who can kind of bounce off you like that?
What's that's the best? It's you want a partner, right? You want somebody that you can push, they can push you back, that they're not set in their thing and you don't feel like you're acting in different movies or TV shows because that can happen too, where somebody comes in and they're just in a bubble, and it
Right.
doesn't matter what you do, you can't engage them. And Brian was, a great partner for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's an interesting film to watch. And I think, like, from my perspective, having watched it, like I said, I didn't know a lot about these murders before, but even though it's loosely based on it, it's scary to think that a guy is could still be out there doing this. I took from it like just keep your eyes open, be more aware of what is actually going on in our world. Did you kind of learn anything as you were making the film or reading the script?
Yeah, I mean, that is always a thing, right? Just kind of as a woman, you have to be so aware. I read this book once that was so interesting. Sorry, this is like slightly off topic, but
That's okay.
called The Power.
Yeah.
And I thought it was such an interesting concept, but it was basically like these girls one day wake up with electricity in their fingertips and they like quarantine them because it starts to spread. If they touch another teenage girl, it spreads, and then it starts to spread to the older women. And soon the whole power dynamic of the world shifts because suddenly the women are like more physically powerful than the men to the point that like they could kill them with their fingertips, and it is such a thing that we don't even realize how aware we have to be of our surroundings from such a young age, that we are constantly in fear of somebody physically harming us in a
Yeah.
way that men have never had to be. I mean, occasionally obviously like things can happen to them too, but just as a woman you're just constantly aware of these things.
Yeah, 100%. As I was saying earlier, you've been doing this for a while, and one of the movies that really sticks out and still in my brain is Brick, because I remember seeing that at the Toronto International Film Festival when it debuted here, and I just was like, I still think about that movie. It was extremely powerful. Was that the movie kind of for you when you did that, like kind of opened up your career, changed your life in any way? Tell me a little bit
Yeah,
about that.
for sure. I mean, it was a tiny, tiny movie when we made it. We shot it on film, but for $400,000,
Yeah.
and it was just a true indie. And that's always my favorite, anyways, because you just feel like everybody's there for the same reason, and you're just all like pulling your own weight and working together. And so, but I remember like I knew it was going to be special. And I
Yeah.
just remember before I even saw it, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, this is special and it's exciting. And um yeah, and it definitely opened things up for me. And yeah,
Yeah. I
it was
loved it. I
exciting.
thought it was fantastic. And talk about opening up things. I mean, obviously you've been in many series, great series and great work. But I got a bone to pick about Heroes because that was one of my favorite series. Like never missed it. And then it just ends. It just ends. I'm like, what the hell? How frustrating is that to work on a show? Okay, me
Mhm.
as a viewer, like who's engrossed in this, I want like a wrap
Ending.
up, a movie
Yeah.
even 2 hours, wrap it up. And they never did it with Heroes. Is that frustrating for an actor to just go, sorry, your show's canceled without finishing off the storyline?
I was done before that happened, but
Yeah.
so I don't actually even know how that wrapped up. It's funny because they did the Heroes Reborn, so I would have thought that they maybe would have done something in between. But
Oh, it's totally different. Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
that is so frustrating. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I've definitely done something where I did the right stuff, and I thought we were going to do a second season, and
Yes.
we were on hold for a long time, and it was like we were for sure doing a second season, and then we didn't. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny thing where you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
story ended there, and
Yeah, I know it's frustrating, not just for you, for us. Like we get invested, so we want to finish it up, but I get it. What else? No, I think you have another movie coming out again with Mel Gibson. Is that correct?
yeah,
Okay,
we had
tell
the same
me.
agent for a little
Oh,
bit.
oh, listen, whatever works, my dear, whatever works. Can you talk about that a little bit? What we're going to see next?
Yeah, that actually, I believe they actually just emailed me about it yesterday. It's really lovely. It's kind of a coming of age story set on I think it's like Martha's Vineyard and a group of young kids, and they believe there's a monster on the island. Something's happening to the kids, and it's kind of fun, like kind of Goonies-ish. It's called Monster Summer.
Ah,
I
cool.
just changed the
Okay.
title. But yeah, I believe that it will be in theaters on October, it's either October 2nd or 5th.
Oh, good. We're going to get it this year, so I'll keep an eye
Yeah,
out
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
That's wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
listen, congratulations on everything. Like I said, I thought you
Thank
did a
you.
great job in this. It was very enticing to watch your character and, you know, give her some grit. I like that. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for your
Appreciate
time,
it.
Nora,
It's
and
been a
have a
pleasure.
great rest of your day. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You too.
Okay,
Bye.
take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. You too.
Okay, bye, guys.